So when I did that first flip, I also realized, okay, I still want to buy apartment buildings, but this liquidity thing is becoming a big problem for me, right? And even if I start making money as a flipper, the liquidity is still a problem because the second I start using my flipping money, I stop being liquid, right? So I either have to literally live like a monk or I need to solve it somehow. And I reached out to one person I know whose dad has a Roth IRA doing nothing. And he was pulling from the Roth IRA and it was getting us 5% return annually. And I think it was just basically going down because the stock market was also going down, right? So I'm like, hey, man, I'll pay you 12% a year on that money if you want. I mean, you're getting 5 right now, so it's way better than what you're getting. And he agreed. I was like, I'll be damned.
But this is not a deal, so you gotta pay that every month, regardless if there's a deal or not.
Every month, regardless of a deal or not, right?
Yeah.
But this is where like everything does, I swear to God, divine intervention. So I got that, I reached out to him beginning of October because it was another 12 unit I had under contract that I raised $450,000 to buy. Bank told me the same thing. You're not liquid. I said, I'm so sick of this, man. You know, like, so I reached out to him.
I'm not liquid today.
I'm like, just give me a break. But I have like $500,000 in equity in the 2 buildings, but they don't care. I'm like, dude, the building alone will cover this debt. Give me a break. Anyhow, we digress. So I reached out to him and I asked for $200K. I was expecting to get like 100. He's like, okay, we'll do it. I'm like, for how much? He's like, 200. I'm like, yeah, duh. So, and I said, and I told him I can't use the money until there's a 60-day seasoning period where the banks will be like, well, where'd you get this money from, right? So I worked in a 60-day window where I actually didn't have the payment due. So I got the money end of October, first payment was due January 1st. That Hoffman Estates flip closed November 1st. I bought it, December 22nd, I closed it. So I actually made all of the first year's money before I even had my first payment due.
There you go.
And then I just initially was going to use that money. It's just sitting in the bank because I can raise money from investors to do the flips. But I'm like, why? When I can start putting it into the flips and keeping more of the profits myself. And then here we are. So the plan keeps changing every day, man.
Well, here, one thing I want to highlight. You found an opportunity. Did you get mailed that credit card? Did you go look for that credit card? 0 interest? Like that's huge. Like
I think
everyone has that access.
That one does have that access, which I don't realize why most people don't, especially like new investors. I'm like, dude, if you're brand new, get the card, be responsible, spend in the marketing, you will get a deal, right? I think I had, just because I knew a little bit about credit, and back when I was a realtor, the balance transfer game was how I stayed in business. Yeah. So I would basically like, okay, what other card is giving me no interest for the longest so I could balance transfer over so that way my credit isn't shot. And I'm like, okay. And then when I applied for when I got my first flip, I got a business credit card. I was like, okay, well, they gave me $7,000 no interest. I just used to buy materials. And then when I was buying this second flip, I set up a new LLC. I was like, I wonder if I can get that credit card again. Yeah. Right? And I was able to get 9,000. So that's right. That's right.
When you start an LLC, this I always tell people is just get it set up. You get a whole bunch of slew of those options. Or the next trigger is if you go open a bank account. So if you LLC, you start it, then you start the bank account for the LLC, you'll get a whole nother round of credit card.
It's so beautiful. Yeah. I will say one lesson I learned is if you don't have a banking relationship with them, they will probably deny your card right away. So with Chase, I've never been denied a single credit card because that's where my checking accounts are. Even when I had no money, they still approved me. Went to Bank of America, better credit, better income, got denied. I'm like, how is this even possible?
They gave me a $500 credit limit.
Did they?
Yeah, I know. I was like, dude, I can't even do it. Like, honestly, I have one payment. I'm above my 75. You hurt my credit.
I can't put gas in my car for a month. That's ridiculous. Yeah. So, and then American Express has been really good. So like the recipe I tell people is like, look, the hardest part is to find a deal because we're all looking for that. If you could spend money finding that, and then you could just bring it to the people who know what to do and they'll take it from there, right? And if you don't have 9,000, the bank will give it to you. Just work hard to pay it off, you know?
Yeah, it's you got to be responsible. But at some point you also got to jump in, right? Like it's just there's too many people, and I think part of it too is like, that person listening right now who has like a white collar job, they're like, oh, that's insane. Like, I'm not going to go do that, right?
Yeah.
You almost need your back pushed against the wall to be like,
you kind of have to.
Here we go.
There's so many people that are listening right now that they want to do they want that $10,000, but this is like their answer. But like they never realize it's there, or they don't want to use their own capital. It's like, man, this is such a.
Well, the other part of the coin too is like you can partner. Right, like like if you have the nice white collar job, like there's someone out there who will do the stuff that you're not willing to do. Like partnerships work in all shapes and forms.
Yeah,
that's such a cheat code. Just finding people that bring something to the table that you cannot, and then doing it together is so much easier. Right. Yep. I always tell people if like I met a kid like 3 months ago. He's like, I don't have any money. I'm like, do you know anyone $50,000? He goes like, yeah. I'm like, well, now you have $50,000. You just need to bring that guy with $50,000 something worth for him to put the $50K in. That's it. So go learn that and then come back to him, you know?